All right, folks, we are back. I am your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. I appreciate you being here. Now, my next guest, before I bring her in, this is the first time on the program. I'm really excited about this segment. We on this program are preparing every day to be a part of the 2024 campaign, especially in Georgia, to find people that are active daily in the campaign to get Trump reelected for the third time in Georgia, to bring you information. And this is the first of many appearances on this program, bringing us information on the campaign trail. I love a debate, especially when I'm talking to someone and we're debating who supports Trump the most. So I'm on the phone with this individual the other day and we're debating, who really supports Trump the most. And I just enjoyed it. Welcome, my friend, to the program, Tiffany Savage. Just bring Tiffany in. Thousands of you follow Tiffany on social media, politically savvy, thousands of you, and now she is here right on the program. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Brian, thank you for having me. I'm sorry I'm still a little hoarse from making calls for Iowa this past weekend, but I'm so happy to be here.
Well, you know what? I was going to ask you before you came on. I keep a Trump hat on my desk and a Make America Great Again cup. And I was going to ask you if that would offend you during the interview. But obviously, and that's the real deal.
Yes, it is. I did some work as almost rapid response on Twitter during the State of the Union last year. So this was sort of a thank you gift for that.
Well, let me go straight to what you were talking about, Tiffany. I appreciate you powering through, but I know there was a team right here in Georgia assembled. You played a role in that you guys were making calls into Iowa to Iowa voters for the caucus, Republican voters the other night. I appreciate that. Our audience appreciates the team. Tell us a little bit about those phone calls and what the reaction you were getting as you were calling caucus goers in Iowa the other night.
It was the response. First of all, going into it, I have a heart for Iowa, especially during caucus time, because that they get inundated for months when it comes to campaign calls. So you go into it kind of feeling bad, right? And when it comes across their screen or their phone, it says campaign call. So they answer it thinking they don't know which campaign you're affiliated with. So, when I say, hi, this is Tiffany, I'm calling on behalf of the Trump campaign, oh my goodness, they light up. They're like, we love President Trump, voted for him twice, we're going to vote again. I only encountered, I encountered two people that were undecided between President Trump and Nikki Haley. So I kind of went off script a little bit and did what I normally do. And by the end of that phone call, it was, yes, put me down for President Trump once you remind them of everything that he did for the farmers and agriculture in Iowa. So that was really exciting. I had my 12-year-old daughter. I gave her the option. I'm like, you can stay home or you can come with me to the headquarters in Fulton and make calls. She's like, no, Mom, I want to work for President Trump. And I was like, all right, let's go. So she sat the first couple out, and come to find out, she made the most phone calls of any of our volunteers. For 6 hours one day, 7 hours the next day, and 6 hours the third day. She's just walking the hallways, making calls for President Trump. educating voters if they've never voted and caucused before, what it is. If they didn't know where their caucus location was, she was helping them locate them. But the outpouring of love and support for President Trump was overwhelming, because they answer the phone, hello. And then once they hear President Trump's name, they want to tell you everything they love about that man. And so I just have a feeling that we're going to see more and more and more of that as state primaries come on board and as the campaign expands nationwide.
All right, let's move from Iowa, but I keep up with the playbook of the enemy, and that's the major focus of my programming, is keeping up with what the deep state corporate corrupt media is putting out. So their spin is Iowa is white racist evangelicals, okay? And only 14% came out, and there's no measure coming out of Iowa going into New Hampshire. So what say you on some of the spin that they're trying to project coming out of Iowa?
Well, that is a great question, because I noticed what was happening, and so I made the campaign aware. What a lot of people don't understand is Iowa, the entire state, got terrible weather, terrible snow. They had, if I heard about one snowdrift, I heard about 150 snowdrifts. And their road clearers were not able, each road clearer has about 100 miles that they have to cover. I heard from hundreds of voters, especially in rural Iowa, that their road clearer hadn't been there, and they're 2 miles from a paved road. They had no access. So I started taking note of the counties where they lived, and then I would forward that information to President Trump and the campaign, saying, "Hey, this area, they cannot get out. They would love to caucus, but they can't, because they literally can't get to a road because there's no one to clear it, and because they have so much to cover." That was more counties than I could count. So that is a false narrative put out by the fake news media, because a lot of these voters couldn't make it out of their home.
Okay, so now let's move from Iowa to New Hampshire. Ron DeSantis went to South Carolina. Nikki Haley went to New Hampshire. She will not debate again, because she will not debate if President Trump's not on the ticket. I want to get your opinion on some of the things in the campaign, but I want to stay focused on this, because you and I are in Georgia, and we're going to do everything we can to support President Trump. Is there a team working on phone calls in Georgia for New Hampshire? I mean, do we have people involved here already? Is there a plan going into next Tuesday for New Hampshire here in Georgia?
Yes, there is. So we have a campaign headquarters in Fulton that will be open for volunteers. We already have a very large group of volunteers starting today. Starting tomorrow, I'm sorry. And then making calls throughout the weekend. And we have that set up and ready to go every single day until New Hampshire. So we are using both Campaign Sidekick and Trump Talk to make these phone calls. They're already preloaded. They are conservative voters, or we've gotten their information from rallies, from donations, from petitions. So we're making those calls. But yes, we do have a group starting tomorrow, and then all throughout the weekend.
Okay, so you and I talked, and here's another question I have. You and I talked the other day. I'm in North Georgia. I can't get to Fulton County. We have an amazing coffee shop up here. Everyone is welcome at the coffee shop, but it's called Conservative Grounds. It's where you can go and have a cup of coffee and Talk about President Trump, buy a Trump hat, and you're not offending anybody. So the owner, John Tutton, has opened conservative grounds to campaigns and different things, and call centers can come out of there in North Georgia. So let me get to the point. What if we have people around the state that can't get to Fulton County that want to participate, and they want to put call center teams together like where I'm talking about?
Yes, so we have our Mountain Patriot group that uses conservative grounds, but it is very easy. We have to get you signed up, but you can do it from your home. You can put a group, a coalition together in and around your community. If you like and that's what I did this past Saturday, is I left our Fulton County group and drove down to Smyrna and got a group together there, got them all set up, and they started making calls there in Smyrna. So we actually encourage that. Get a group of your friends, family, patriots, whoever is in your group, your church group if you like, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home. We just need to get you set up on that. On one is an app and one you use online. So there's two different ones. You can use them. You can interchange them. We just need to get you signed up. You can actually register for the Trump Talk. That's using the website. But Campaign Sidekick, we would need their emails, and then we can get them set up and they can start making calls. But you can do it from the comfort of your home with a group of people. Make a competition out of it. But yes, anyone can do it.
All right. So just reference there, folks, conservative grounds. We're preparing to launch a date for a Friday live program. And Tiffany and I talked the other day, and she's going to come up and be a part of that launch of our live program there on that Friday. All right. So I have a couple of rapid fire questions, and we got to get into Georgia, and we got to talk about Georgia. What say you on Ramaswamy joining the campaign yesterday? Now, I'm going to throw this out. I think all along, Ramaswamy's a bright guy. I think he had a role to play all along, and this is developed exactly as the plan, because people don't like when I say it. President Trump's a brilliant campaigner, businessman. But I think it was a plan all along. What say you with him on the campaign trail?
Oh, 100% agree. They both, if you listened very closely to both of them speak, they said basically that they had been talking with each other, working with each other. They put little hints out that this has basically been the plan all along, which I think is brilliant, because you have, you had Ramaswamy to show up to these debates. And if you listen to his verbiage and his manner of speaking, that's not how he would normally speak. And you're like, whoa, wait a second. I know that word. I know this. I know this. I know this. Yeah. It was almost like a mouthpiece for President Trump, because if President Trump came to those debates, you wouldn't be able to talk about policy. You wouldn't be able to talk about achievements or Agenda 47. It would just be attacks and nothing would get done. So why not have a young up-and-coming conservative that can appeal to your younger voter base, but be your mouthpiece? I think it was brilliant.
Well, not to get stuck there, the guy is smooth, very smooth, articulate. The guy could roll it out. He knows the plan. He could talk about the deep state. I mean, I think he is the perfect surrogate to go out there and deliver the message that we are trying to bring home. And it explodes the media's head, and that's what I love on a daily basis. But as I'm saying that, do you think Trump has picked his VP and it's sitting in the wing? And who do you think could be the VP on this ticket?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to choose one. I'm going to choose both sexes, both genders. Yes, to answer your question, yes, I do. I do think he hasn't chosen. If it is a female, I would think it would be more along the lines of a Kristi Noem. If it is a male, I would be lying if I said that I didn't want Tucker, because that would be incredible. And that would also appeal to sort of your maybe an older base. That's what I would like to see.
Okay, so you said Tucker and Kristi Noem. That is the governor of South Dakota, correct? And
Yes,
and
or
folks,
Tulsi Gabbard, but I'm not a fan.
do what?
I said, or Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not a huge fan of hers, but that name has been thrown out. But you have to understand also, like we saw with VFAF, there is going to be a lot of names thrown out there to keep people guessing and wondering until President Trump can unveil it the way that he likes. He's brilliant.
Well, my opinion is there's several options prepared. And the reason being is he has to reveal the option and the running mate to fit who he's running against.
Right.
They might have something set up for Biden-Harris, but if it does end up not being Biden-Harris, he might have to go to plan B or plan C. So I'm not saying he doesn't have the pick. And I want to just throw out, this is not my pick, folks. But watching auditions, Elise Stefanik in New York is definitely auditioning for it. Okay, so let me move from that one to the Trump train. We are watching people rapidly run for the train to jump on the train. Would you like to name a couple that came on the train yesterday that are now coalescing with the campaign? I'll leave that up to you. And what say you about the people that are trying to come on board now?
Okay, so, we had Tommy Lahren, we had John Cardello. They were vile. They have been vile, especially when it comes to social media and the way and the things that they have said about President Trump. However, and this is hard for me to say, but each of those people, any of these people, do have a following. Some are very loyal. We need votes. We need those voters in all 50 states. So I will wait until President Trump is back behind the Resolute desk. And then maybe I'll take my jabs at him at that time. But you know what? There's no room for divisiveness. We knew that not everyone was going to be on the Trump train, right? And that's okay. They chose their candidate. Their candidate wasn't successful. So at this point, we have to welcome them back in the fold. Hey, we held it down while you were gone. You had a lapse of judgment. It's okay. Now, but we need you to get on board. And we need you to get your followers. Don't lose focus on the goal. Mm-hmm.
Don't lose focus on the goal. I get that. I could start rolling out the names with you that, yeah, okay, buddy, really, you want to get on now? But because I'm expecting an enormous amount of lawmakers, especially in Georgia, at any minute to start taking pictures when Georgia is Trump country. To start taking pictures with endorsements, and I'm just going to that's great and move on. All right, this is my last subject of the day because I have a 9 o'clock guest. I have to keep my schedule, but you and I talked about something the other day. It's very important. I, for one, believe Trump will win the next election, not going into the last two that he won. But I believe he'll win the next election. I believe he will be the next president of the United States. Barring any unforeseen circumstances. Laying all that out, if Trump wins re-election and he goes to the White House, we have to have a House, especially a House and a Senate that's Republican.
Yes.
And I cringe to say that because I never say just go vote Republican, but we have to have majorities, because if Trump is inaugurated on January 20th and the House belongs to the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, which I predict will be Speaker of the House again, Hakeem Jeffries is just keeping the seat warm. But anyhow, Democrats will launch the third impeachment on January 21st if we don't give Trump majorities, correct?
That is correct. We have to support our candidates, our congressional leaders. It is so imperative. And do I like all of them? Nope. Sure. However, if we do not hold at least one of our houses, or whether it's the House of Representatives or the Senate, the impeachment inquiries will literally start on day one. And so what we saw through President Trump's first administration, the constant arrows, the constant inquiry, everything, imagine that times 10. It will be so much worse. And that is why we need to encourage our lawmakers, that are elected officials that hold office. But, this is why it is important, not just for 2024, but moving forward. We need to make sure our candidates are vetted. And that's what we do with Veterans for America First. We are vetting candidates that will uphold America First policies, fight for the American people, fight for the Constitution. And this starts on a local level for each and every person to get involved, to vet your candidates, to put your support behind these candidates, funding behind these candidates, and it will cycle upwards from your state level to your federal level. But we can't be torching every single person in the Republican Party, because we need numbers. We have to have these seats, because stay focused on your goal, stay focused on your end game, because if we don't have a House or a Senate or both that are supporting the duly elected president, President Donald J. Trump, nothing will get done.
Tiffany Savage, also, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, friend, but I have to get to another guest. Tiffany Savage, also ambassador for Veterans for America First. We appreciate you. Quickly, you're on X. I know you're on other social media, but how can they find you on X and start following you there, and
Yes.
and try to get messages to you? How can they follow you there, Tiffany?
Yes, so go to Twitter X, and my handle is the @Patriot, PATRIOT _ Savvy, SAV as in Victor, so SAVVY. Or in your search bar, you can put in The Real Politically Savvy, and then you'll see my face pop up. And you can @ me on Twitter, you can send me a DM, but I am on every other social media platform too, so I'm accessible.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate your work in Iowa. We appreciate the team that all of you are assembling. I know many people working with you to make calls in New Hampshire and get ready to bring Trump into Georgia. I appreciate you. I've got to run for another guest. Thank you very much, Tiffany Savage. Have a great day.
Thank you, Brian.